So now we have our isometric drawing with our orthographic projections. But we're going to add dimensions, and there are some rules for dimensions, and I'll try to clarify those more specifically on assignments, but I'll give an overview here. So after we've placed all of our views on our paper that we resized, we're going to go back up to the top here, and we're going to use a different tab. So place views got us the drawings done, but annotate is going to be what we use to put stuff in, put text in, and put dimensions in. So dimension over here is a really big button, which is great. And it has two ways of putting on dimensions for linear parts or linear distances. So for example, for the height of this, I'm going to put this off to the left here. If I click on the side and drag it out, it'll give me the value of that distance. And then I can just say, okay. So that's fine there. But if I'm trying to dimension something, like if I want the distance between these two things and I'm not able to click on that line, or I'm doing something that just can't be clicked on directly, I can also go between two things. So if I click on the first line here, it'll try to dimension that. But if I click on a second line, it'll change its function. So now it's going across. So with dimensions, there's a couple of things we can do. One thing we're going to want to avoid is duplicate dimensions. So for example, these views are lined up. So if I know the width of this feature up here, I know the width of this feature down here. So I actually don't need necessarily this here. I can delete that. Whoops. Deleting on this program, I'm going to right click, say OK, and then I'll right click again and I can hit delete. So now I can get rid of that. So I'm going to go through, and if I dimensioned everything, it could look something like this. And with this one, it's the same file. I just had dimensioned it previously, and I had a different front view, say? No, okay. So I've got pretty much everything dimensioned, or it can be figured out. So one of the weird things with dimensioning, we don't necessarily need everything labeled. We're going to assume that the person reading this can do some math. So if I know the height of this tower here is 1.5, and I know the height of this shelf, which these are the same shelf, they're the same height, then I can assume that if this is 0.75 and the full height of the thing is 1.5, then I know that the difference here is 0.75. Same thing with the top. I labeled the full, or I labeled to here and I labeled to here. Now the one thing I didn't dimension up here, and it would be kind of crowded if I tried to fit it, would be the distance of this from here to here. Whoops. You have to have dimension selected for that to actually work. There we go. So there's 0.75. So now I can figure out this distance, and I know that distance. So this is pretty much done. Now I still do want you to put your name on the page. So we can go to text here, and I can put text on the bottom corner here, kind of like it was originally. It doesn't need to be very big. And you'll see the size of it when it shows up. So I don't know if you can put your period number in it. And there we go. And you can see a preview of it down here. If you try to do that again, it's going to give you another text box. Sorry, if you try to click again, it's going to give you another text box. So if you need to move, hit the escape key, and it should bring you back to the mouse. If it doesn't, you can right click and hit cancel. So for example, if I have text on, right click, cancel, and then it's done. And that should let me move this again. So if you can put your name on the bottom there, you can put your first name, last name, or your first initial, last name, and the period that your class is in. So then this one is all set. It's fully dimensioned, and I've got my name on it. So you're going to do this for each of the drawings for this puzzle. And let me know if you have any questions. I think that about covers it. I'll cover any other tips and tricks in another video. Thank you.